Alright, so last time we were in the middle of making our nuclear power plant. So, if I remember correctly, we needed 176 of these, and we are making them in batches of 40, of which we have 3 currently. So we need to add another 2 heat exchanger batches. And we need to find some space to fit them in. So let's see if we can rotate this, and if that will help. Alright, so we're gonna have to be building over that in order to put it here. And the alternatives are building over a drone port, which I don't really want to do. Building over another drone port, which I don't really want to do. Or building up here, which is going to get complicated with all the pipes. And we only need to fit in like 1.5 more. So we should be able to move that production area around somewhere. So let's get this in then. And yeah, we should, if we build it here, the only thing we'll actually be overwriting is the reactor production, which we don't really need. And potentially the power lines too. Let's connect that across. And we seem to have disconnected the entire grid. So let's get those power lines in. And apparently that didn't work, so we get that one in, and now we're all good. Cool. Alright, so now we are once again waiting on heat exchangers. And productivity modules, but that's a whole other thing. And actually we're waiting on tier 2 productivity modules, which I don't even think we're producing. So let's find those and just replace them with tier 3s, which we probably actually have. Let's see, tier 3 productivity modules, we've got 110. This needs 122, so yeah, we can actually just upgrade that and resolve the problem. So just have to run down here. And this will also just buy time for the heat pipes to get built, which is going to take a while. So we're not exactly in a rush on the nuclear power plant stuff. Alright, so down we go. Now we're here. So let's get... Where are they? There you are. So we can fill all those in. Fill all those in. And then I guess actually we didn't even need to come down here, because what we can do is go into here and just send drones to do all of these. There we go. That should be all of them. Okay, so now we are short on productivity modules, which is not at all surprising. So we need 56 more of the good ones, and then randomly 4 of the bad ones somewhere, although I don't know where they are. Alright, let's... Oh, almost get hit by a train. Let's just go back to the nuclear reactor. I guess we can let these drones do whatever it is they're doing. Alright. Now we head back up. See how heat sink production is going. We still need 82 of the heat pipes. That's going to take ages. It's going to take absolutely forever. So, we're just going to head back up and see if it's still producing or not. The good news is we're almost done with these. Like, once we get these couple set up, then it should be fine. Alright, so you are producing, but copper sheets are a problem for you. And that's fine. We're also going to need a lot of these, so I want to keep it running as long as possible as well, which also requires copper sheets. So where are my copper sheet production, and how are they doing? So over here we have totally perfect setup. Oh, we're... This corner. They're coming from all the way over there. I guess that makes sense. Can I... You are within drone range. Aha. Alright, let's get rid of this nest real quick. Apparently just barely within drone range for one of them. Alright, so we need to queue up second volleys against those. Go. That's that nest dealt with. Now let's get some of these as well and just send 2 shots at everything, although most of those are just worms, so we don't even need them. Bit of a waste of ammo, but that's fine. So then we can go out here, wipe out some of those guys. Let's see if any of these are also actual nests or if these are just worms. We're going to queue up 1 shot each for them. Alright. So yeah, all those additional wasteful shots are going out. There we go. Those last couple of worms are dealt with. Now we have this one, should be receiving shots any second now. Yeah, here they go. Oh no, that was one last one over there. And it might be out of ammo. Yeah, it looks like it's firing as fast as it can go, which isn't very fast. But we got rid of the nests, that's the important part. Now we're just gonna chop through the biters. And that corner, which has been repeatedly attacked, should be secure once more. Alright, so this is still going. We're still a bunch of heat pipes short. And I assume I don't have any in my inventory. No, of course not. So I want to connect this down to here so that we can get this started up. Although we do still have to connect water to it anyways. So let's do that. So this side is water, that side is steam. So we have that water pipe there, which is going to go under the train tracks. And then come all the way over there. Our weapon shooting speed increased. Let's get efficiency module 3s, because why not? Alright, and then we need to attach the steam pipe here into that steam pipe there. And now once these heat exchangers are in, and let's get... I don't know how to do this without going to the map first to send things that I don't have, but we can queue up a heat pipe down there, and that will have this whole thing started up. Alright, so that is all good, and it's just going to be a whole lot of copper plates before that is fully set up. Now, is that being limited by the copper plate supply? Okay, so wait, we don't have any logistics storage chests here. Let's make some of these guys passive providers. And then go over to our other copper plates over here. And this is also running. You love to see it. And you don't have any spare, but at least we can try. Alright, let's throw some extra copper in there. Just because it'll help these a little bit. At least the steel beams aren't an issue. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, this is the nuclear waste. So we're going to need to get rid of the nuclear waste, which I would assume we can just do that. And that'll bring it down to the other nuclear plant. So that comes down here and gets recycled in these, which should be more than fast enough. Alright, and then this also definitely has enough fuel. Alright, so how are we going? We are down to only like 10 left of these. So that's pretty good. Unfortunately, one of them is the one that we need to get any of these attached up and started at all. But it should be like any second now. They're filling in this entire grid. There we go. And then it'll be that one, and then we'll be all set up to have these going. Yeah, there we go. So temperature here is going to fall because more stuff got attached to it, but it should equalize pretty quickly. And then these just have to get up to 500, and then it'll get started. Alright, so now that we have all of these in, we're technically not doing full capacity because we need 176, and this is only 160. So let's see if we can actually... If we just stack you on like this. That's not going to work because it's going to try to overwrite more stuff than it needs to overwrite. But what if I just do that and not overwrite things? Ah. The answer is that it breaks everything. Good to know. Alright, so you all have to go out. And yeah, let's just pick all that back up and get the steam out of that pipe. Yeah, so that was a mistake. What we need to do is, I guess, just set this up manually. So let's disconnect all of this water pipe. Bring this back. We need another 16, which means we need another 4 rows, technically. Alright. Alright, so those all go in, and that is 4 more rows. And just have to get all of these in for all of these. Oh, not like that. Alright. So, next step is attaching the water back up. Oh, I will have trapped myself in here. Although not quite. I can escape out the other side. That's fine. Alright, so that goes like that. Then this goes along like this and overwrite that electrical pole, which means we're going to need to reconnect all of that stuff. And we just keep on connecting up these steam pipes. There we go. Okay. So now it's just a question of heat pipes. And I have plenty in my inventory now. Not sure where all of those came from all of a sudden, considering how short we were on them just a moment ago, but not gonna complain. We're just gonna put all these in. And I believe that's everything. So once these get up to temperature, then this whole system will start up, and we'll be good to go. And that should consume all of the temperature from the reactor. And so then we have to deal with the actual power production. So we have 176 functional versions of these, which means we need not quite 2 per each one, because this is 103 steam, and each of these is 60. So 2 is enough, but theoretically would use less than that. But that's going to be 176 times 2 is what, 352? And we've got how many of these are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So this is 100-ish. And we are going to need another, like, 200. Yikes. Okay. Okay, well, let's just... I guess we can... Did I ever make a blueprint of this? No, I didn't. I kind of want to build off into the ocean. It's going to be annoying because of all the landfill we're going to use, but not like I'm using much landfill otherwise. So, we are going to copy this and run all the way... I guess if we go all the way down there, we're going to run into problems. We're going to go down to like there. And then those all go in. And we're going to use a whole lot of landfill doing this. And I have no idea how many that batch is, but it's going to be a lot. I would imagine it's going to have to be a lot. And we are using up most of our remaining steam turbines building those. Yeah, now we're short on landfill, which I believe we're producing in small quantities here. Okay, we're definitely not short on landfill. There's definitely more landfill than we need here. And this is also still running. Okay, is landfill... Yeah, I figured as much. Alright, so then what we need is... I closed the map. I closed the map, because of course I did. So these need to be bulk inserters in order to grab the stone fast enough. And then we need to probably just speed module these. Although, I don't even know if I have Mark III speed modules produced. No, I definitely don't. Alright, that's fine. Let's just Mark II speed module them. Alright, I don't know how to unset that. Ah well. We can upgrade them to that, and we'll probably have to stop by there at some point. And that will use more stone, which is fine, because we've got this whole patch of stone here, which is frankly annoying that it exists. And I would rather it emptied so that I can use that space. So using a whole bunch of stone on landfill is actually, like, marginally beneficial. Alright, those two up there haven't been built. And I assume that is just because of drone coverage range. No, it should be fine to have drone coverage up there. Besides, now I'm right here. Alright, I don't know what that's all about. Oh no, those are because of the landfill. So why... Okay, yeah, no, looking at it from that angle, I can see that there is just an awkward corner. So let's put drones there and power them up. And now that'll all get built. We also finished researching efficiency modules. Spidertron, that seems neat. Let's just get train braking force. That's always going to be useful for increased speed. Alright, so now we have somewhat better power, and yeah, the power we currently have is like dramatically overkill for what we need. So I think I'm fine with this. We can come back later and add more steam turbines in eventually. Let's just confirm. Okay, yeah, no. That is a good thing we checked. We don't want you to stockpile more than like 50 or so. So let's set that, and then this can just run as it is. We are always going to need more of these at some point in the future, and that should be fine. And now all of these are outputting. Alright, so yeah, that's that. Power problem solved. Now let's come down here, and these... Okay, these definitely don't need speed modules. Let's just... honestly, give them efficiency modules. Just, I guess that's a thing that we have. So we may as well. Did I ever request efficiency modules for my inventory? I did not. Alright, that's fine. We do have Tier 2 efficiency modules producing, right? Yes, we have Tier 2 of everything. But only Tier 3s we have are productivity. That's fine, those are the most important ones anyways. Alright, so here we have saturated green circuits. That is interesting. Are green circuits actually just fully saturated? Yeah, all of these trains are waiting at green circuit input. Which means that we have enough green circuit production finally. So, if that's the case, then we need to work on our red circuit input, because that is bottlenecking. That's the main bottleneck now that green circuits are backed up. Alright, now somehow the settings here got messed up. You could click that, put the recipe icons on. Oh, is it because I was in the... Yeah, it's because I was in the train section. Alright, so, red circuits are short on... Okay, you're short on copper wires. Presumably, I've just mixed up the way that these face. I feel like this has happened before. I don't know how. But yeah, these need to face this way. And that way they can grab their copper wires. Then these are short on... Okay, everything is short on plastic now. So where is the plastic production? What's going on with you? So plastic isn't getting any petroleum. This train is just a plastic train which isn't doing anything, but is just sitting here for some reason. What are you doing there? Oh, you're trying to get to here. Alright, so that means that this hasn't been set up properly. So you get a train limit of 1. Alright, so we need to fix the petroleum gas problem then. So where's the petroleum gas coming from, and why is it not showing up? It should be here. And you don't have any crude oil. There's another spot that was making it right, but probably has stopped by now. Yeah, the lubricant is all filled up and not doing much. Alright, so we are short crude oil. And seemingly have been for a while, if the plastic has backed up. So, okay, it's not that output, it's this input. So we have 2 trains waiting at crude oil outputs. And are they stuck somehow? So you're waiting for full cargo inventory, and it's just taken a while. Alright. So if you're doing that, then my other crude oil input with train access is down here. And you're also slowly filling up. Okay. That's probably not horrible. But I guess what we're going to want is we're going to want either... Actually, can we accelerate this? No, these guys all have Mark II speed modules already. Okay, now what's going on here? This is not what I was doing, but it certainly is a deadlock. So you got set to manual mode at some point. Oh, you were the one that got its cargo destroyed. I remember that now. Biters attacked that corner and took out a cargo wagon, so I had to replace it. Alright, so that's an unrelated problem fixed. Nice to have that happen. So that'll improve iron ore throughput, which is not what I wanted, but we take those. And then we have the crude oil. So is it just a question of we need more crude oil mines? So there's one over there with 997 yield. That's 447. That's 591. And then obviously there's this tiny one, which is 194. So we could go down there and grab that. It is a bit far, which would make grabbing it a bit annoying. There's also like one up there, which is, I believe, 1211, which is insane. And then there's that one, which is 752, and that's actually just across the water. Yeah, we can head up there and grab that. And just attach it up to some train lines. Alright, so you go... This is gonna take a lot of landfill to do, but shouldn't be all that bad. I'm just waiting on drones to carry some stuff. I have 40 raw fish. I have no idea when I got that, but I do not think that I need to be carrying it around, or that, or that. Or those. Alright, now we have landfill problems again. So I'm going to need more than 100 at a time for this. Well, I guess actually what I'm going to need is I'm going to need to bring drone coverage up there. Because we're going to need that for repairs and such. Alright, so let's get down a requester chest here. And you are going to request... Alright, where even is landfill kept? It's down here. You're going to request like 1,000 landfill. Which is more than we have, but at least it'll be something. And actually you can be a buffer chest with that same request, so that you can provide the landfill for whatever we need up here. And these are still producing along just fine. We got a fresh cargo of stone, it seems. How much is in here? 934,000. That should be plenty. Alright, so let's head up here, get all this stuff built, and then what we're going to need is a roboport as far up as it'll go, and just, you know, by the side. And then we're going to need to bring power lines along the water as well and connect them into there. Alright. So that medium electrical pole needs to get placed. I guess I'll do it manually since I'm standing right there. And then we need to get some landfill there. There we go. Alright, so now that row report is charged. And we keep going. So up you go. And up you go. And we have drones doing all sorts of building. Mostly from my personal inventory at this point. We're going to need to expand the drone coverage out. And then bring power up as well. Alright, so now those all get queued up. And we just need that one. Just need that one to get built. Gosh. Okay, no, there it goes. Alright. We're almost far enough north. And that's not really even true, but whatever. We're getting there at least. Yeah, can I just go to map mode and set this all up from here? So that is going to need to go up there. That is going to need to go up there. Alright, so then we just need to bring our drone ports and our power lines. Like so. Probably those were just barely too far apart. Now all this is getting built. There sure are a whole lot of drones working out here over the ocean. It's probably fine. I don't think drones will fall out of the sky and crash into the water. It would be funny if they could, though. Alright. So just a little bit more. You go there. And power comes up as well. And now we are apparently might be short on landfill. Hard to say. We are definitely using a lot of landfill here that we definitely haven't been doing up to this point. Alright, so that's all going. And how much landfill do we have? 635 in logistic storage. It should be plenty. Doing each of these is probably like 4, maybe? Alright. So that is that, and now we just need... Oh, am I standing too far away again? Yes, I am. So now we need to bring this just out this way. Back onto solid ground. And we're going to need a walkable path there as well. Alright, and that's apparently as far as we can go. And now we just have to wait for all of this stuff to get built up. Alright, so we're going to have to hope that those biters don't notice the drone port that got built right next to them. It'd be real awkward if they did. And we're going to receive our stockpiles of landfill. And build that out. We didn't end up getting it perfectly straight, but that's fine. So now we have made it over here. Alright, so the next thing we need is we need to deal with these biters, which they're probably within range of artillery somewhere. Are they? Yes, they are. Those ones are as well, as are those ones. Alright, so that's fine. The concern is that they might try to attack over here. Because this is like the only reasonable route to get to anything of mine. So we're going to have to fortify this beachhead. And I probably should have just wiped them out before I got this close. Because they might react badly to these lasers. Alright, no, it seems like they don't care. At least for now. So we're just going to get one more in there. And now it is time to call in the airstrikes. So each of these nests gets 2. And yeah, they're coming this way. Alright, we need more lasers. Alright. It's always a bit scary dealing with the behemoth biters. When you don't have the most sophisticated defenses, but that is that nest dealt with. And I guess let's get rid of you guys as well. And you. Alright, so that's the nest in immediate proximity. So then we just have to deal with these guys. Oh, and apparently our artillery just barely does not have range up there. Whoops. Well, we can get rid of 2 of those nests at least. And then we're going to need a blueprint up here for a new artillery piece. How did I die? Was I standing in a pile of goo? I must have been standing in a pile of goo that they spit. That was fast though. That was like 5 seconds. Or less than that. That's crazy. Alright, we're gonna have to walk all the way back up there. And fortunately, I was behind the defensive line, so it's not like there's going to be any issue getting back. Just have to walk over there. Alright, up we go, up we go, up we go. Alright, so we just have to maneuver our way. Unfortunately, we don't have our equipment right now, so we're going to be moving extra slow. But just gotta walk. Gotta walk up. And we can, I guess, walk on that to get a little bit of a boost. Still no sign of plastic for making red circuits. Alright, now we are at the train bridge. Although I just realized that the trains might not actually be able to reach up here because that that square there isn't actually a real square, which might be an issue. Alright, so we do have a gun here. It's firing away. Alright, loot the corpse. And of course that's the last one. Alright. Now we loot the corpse again. And we are back to what we were doing. Oh, and I accidentally removed a wall. That wall is going to be important. Alright, so then this is all clear, and we just have to wait for the artillery to wipe out those extra biters. Gosh, those are some big swarms, huh? Put an extra laser turret in there, and this time we've learned our lesson. We're going to step back. Alright, so this is doing its thing. And these are eventually going to get more shells. There we go. So that is going to fire up here. And unfortunately, alright, there, we got rid of one of the nests. These are up to 12% behemoth biters. That's a lot of behemoth biters. Alright, can I... Alright, no. They unfortunately have moved. They got away just in time. And that's just going to be a mild waste of ammo. Alright, what if we fire there? No, that's not going to work. Alright, it's very, very difficult to snipe actual, just like regular old biters with that sort of stuff. And these attacks keep on coming. And this, can we set you up to request 10 at a time? Just so that we get slightly faster firing rate at these guys, because this could take ages otherwise. Alright, so we are getting repair packs up here. And there come some artillery shells, which is going to probably just provoke another attack. Oh, but we might wipe out... No, we have aimed at a random worm instead. We are getting through these nests, though. Most of them are gone at this point. It's just these three at the bottom. And they should be gone shortly. One more good shot should wipe out all three of them. Don't know if it has the ammo for that. Doesn't. But we repelled another attack. And another attack. Alright, here comes more drones, presumably delivering artillery ammo. Yep, there we go. So that's a couple more of those. And that's that nest gone. And we move on down to this nest. Alright, so this should be mostly clear pretty soon. It's still not safe by any means. Like, I'm not even getting close to the wall at this point. I just need this to keep on firing away. And we will get through eventually. Come on, just shoot at the nest. Alright. There we go. Another one down. And what's the pollution looking like up here? There's not much yet. Okay, now we're just firing across the ocean to get rid of some of these guys. That's fine, I guess. If it means that there's nothing close. That's good news. Alright, so now what we need to do is... We did unlock efficiency modules, right? That was the thing that was happening. Pump jacks. So there's one here inside of our artillery's defensive lines. So we're going to have to move this real quick. And I don't want to permanently remove this defensive box just yet, because there's definitely stuff over here still for that to antagonize. But that should be enough space to get that pump jack in, and then you can go there. Alright, we finished breaking force 6. I guess we can do lab research speed, not that we have the resources to even do it. What else is there? Breaking force 7, I guess we can NQ. And mining productivity. Ooh, atomic bombs could be fun. It's going to take a lot of science, though. Alright. The artillery is still firing away, and it is occasionally provoking attacks. So we are by no means safe to build here. Alright, now we're firing down that way. Alright, more biter attacks. This is just going to take a while. But we should be... At this point, we should be fine, right? Like, yeah, it should be okay now. So let's get the rest of these. Oh, no, we're not. We are definitely not fine. Okay. That's fine. We just need to get... What do we unlock? Portable fission reactor. That was a thing that happened at some point. Alright, so what was I doing? I was in the middle of something when I opened this menu. Oh right, I wanted to make gates so that I can walk in and out of this area quickly. Alright, so now we can head out here, and the pump jacks are all in this area. So let's get all of them in, facing down, because this is the way we're headed. Then we need just some quick walls around here so that this whole thing can be secure. And then we need a gate on this wall so that I can enter. Alright, so next up, we need to bring power along so that these can all be defended and also producing. Alright, theoretically, they might try to like sneak around the back, but even if they did, they would need to get across the north first, which seems difficult. I don't know. Let's just put the usual full surround of laser turrets in, and we could use one there, I guess. Alright, so these are all in. And now we have to pipe them all up. Like so. And get this last one. Alright, so now we need to just open up a hole in there, which is fine because this is all internal now, and connect all those up. So now we've got this pipe, which has 751% oil in it, apparently. Still don't know what those numbers even mean, but sure. Alright, so now we need a fluid train unloader, and then we just have to set it to load. And that is unfortunately just over here in a very annoying spot on the water. So that all gets built. These all get flipped about. And we're gonna need... Yeah, we're gonna need drone coverage up here. So you can go in there, I guess. And that does mean we're gonna want to just wall off this top area as well. And I don't know, I really doubt that they're going to do that, but just in case, you know? Just in case. Alright, so that's powered up. Now we need to connect it up to there. And that's powered up. So now we need to bring the pipes over, which also apparently need landfill. And now we just hook this up. I don't know why I keep doing that. So that is in. That goes across. We don't need those to exist. And then we could use a couple of storage tanks here. I don't know how much that's necessary, but sure, they exist now. Okay, apparently the second road isn't lined up correctly. What, do we have to do it like this? Yeah, like that. Alright, so that is a ton of crude oil production. Now we just need to sort out the train details. So you get a... could have sworn I had these somewhere. Alright, so this has to go in here. And just line up like that. I think that's the way this is meant to be pointing. Yeah, it should be. Alright, so then we need this to perform a U-turn. Okay, and we are under attack once again. Although this time we have ammo and we're not shooting at whatever caused that attack. It's from all the way down there. Alright, this is like within optimal range of 3 of my artillery pieces. So we're just gonna wipe those guys out. There we go. And that should now be clear. Although we have to worry about all these guys as well. Alright. Bring on the artillery fire. With so many guns, this will go quickly. Did we get shots queued up at you? I don't think so. Alright, and then you are just out of pollution range, but you're probably going to wind up in it sooner rather than later, so we'll wipe you out as well. Gosh, artillery is so cool. Alright, so that is that secure, which should protect this whole area. Alright, so now we need to go up here and just get that stuff built. Okay, so now this is set as crude oil output. And we're going to want a train associated with it. So you go there, and you get 2, 3, 4 wagons. You get assigned to the crude oil group. Set to automatic. And then I guess we should give you a refueler up here, just to be sure. And then walk close enough to the locomotive and fuel you up. And I imagine you're not going to be able to find out how to get to your next stop. Or no, you're just waiting for full cargo inventory. Fair enough. Alright, so as far as actually returning goes, you head down here, and then you're just going to get stuck there. So what we need to... Alright, I need to get out of this place first of all. Please let me out. Alright, this is awful. Alright, so now we're here. We can, I guess, do that. And then poke that hole, because this is all internal anyways. Oh, we actually need... This is actually very important. We need to speed module all these guys. And you... And we need to get up there for you. Which means getting past... Oh, I did that the wrong way. So you go like that. And now you get speed modules. And that should all be set. To hopefully produce more crude oil more quickly. And now we leave and start setting up this to be connected up to the trains. So this goes up, this goes down. So we need to be able to get into both of those. So I think, because this whole thing isn't real, so we need to just take all of this stuff out so that we don't get confused about what's going on. None of that exists. Alright, so this is going this way, so we need to go from here. Don't do that. That would be very silly. Alright, so let's just take all that out. And then you go from here. Again, that would be the most ridiculous possible way of doing that. That station should be removed. And now you can go in there quite nicely. Alright, so that is how they get up there. Now, they get down via this one. So let's chop both of those back a little bit. And apparently a little bit more. Yeah, I really wish it wouldn't do ridiculous things and it would just do like the normal sensible way of getting from point A to point B. Like that. Alright, so now that should be accessible. Probably. And I really need to set these last couple to upgrade to Productivity Mark 3s. Because it's constantly whining about it and it could be fixed at any moment. So let's have this be the moment where it's fixed. So down we go. And where even are these? It's over this way. And then we go south. I see them on the mini-map. So it's just these two over here, which somehow got missed. Alright, so we can just... Hello? How close do you have to be? There we go. So that is all gone. We now have enough. Alright. Here is something that I really do not like. this is not being merged at all. So these top two have emptied out before the bottom two. And I really dislike that. So let's fix that. So we're going to take these belts out a little bit. And then these go up and across a little bit. You go up and across a little bit. Okay. Then that, I guess that's fine. It doesn't really matter. So then, what we need to do is get all of these balanced across. So, if we just do that, does that work? And then obviously we're going to need to upgrade all of that in order to be max speed. Alright. No, that doesn't work. So we need to get this belt over there. So we need, let's see, if we take those out, so we are combining these four belts evenly into these two. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out. So what we need to do is get this one across to those. So now these two center ones will get access to stuff from all the belts. And in order to do the outputs, we need to do something like this, maybe, and then we don't want that actually connected up. Alright, now we need to figure out how to get... Actually, is that correct? I'm just gonna have to figure it out and see. So these two need to like sneak out there. And again, we don't want to send this stuff through until we figure out if it's all right. So then we would just do something like that. And then if we attach all of these up, that might work. Because, I mean, these two are sending their full outputs up to those two, which is definitely what I want to be happening. So now we just need to run these two down, and then, okay, no, we don't want that one going into there. We want this one going into there, and this one going down to here. And then we just gotta upgrade all this. And that should be fixed, I think. Because, let's see, so this input belt, it goes into those two via that into that. And it goes into these two via this into that. So yeah, I think that works. And it's symmetrical, so the top side would work just fine if there were any wire in it at the moment, which there isn't. So that should fix that. And we should be good to go on that front. Okay, now that was just like a random side quest that I was stopping by to do. The main thing we were worried about was the crude oil production. You haven't learned how to do balancer math yet? Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's similar enough to satisfactory math that I have a pretty significant head start there. But it's not that bad. It's just a whole bunch of dividing things into two. Alright, this train is filling up. And I really need to know what'll happen when it is completely full, and whether or not it will be able to find its way or not. Alright, so this is feeding the old factory with crude oil. And then we are just waiting. Hang on, is that a little gap there in drone coverage? Why does that exist? Oh, I had to move this drone port over a bit. That's probably fine. I'm not going to worry about that. Alright. Back up here, this is filling pretty quick. I don't think all these extra storage tanks are going to be doing anything. But, or at least not doing all that much. Because it's not very fast to fill. But it is filling nonetheless. And we're just going to let it fill completely. And then crude oil should hopefully be resolved by that. Although it would be nice if it was fixed by something else first, because it's going to take forever otherwise. So this is the lubricant, and it obviously has plenty of crude oil. The problem is over here, the petroleum gas, which is sort of an important input to basically everything, which is not getting any crude oil. Alright, so what are you doing? Oh yeah, no, this is the lubricant again. I just got confused because it looks very fancy for such a very minor production line. Alright, these are the iron plates, and they seem mostly... yeah, this is all saturated as well. And is that because we're actually just, like, succeeding and all of these? Yeah. So the red circuits are the thing that we're waiting on most of all, and they just need plastic, which just needs petroleum gas. And then the rest of the factory can start up again. And that's just gonna be waiting for this train to finish fueling. Which, at this rate, will take a while. Let's see, how much... can we calculate how much this is? So that's 23.4, that's 25, that's 50. So these three together are just shy of 100. That's another 40-ish. So we're looking at like 140 per second, and this can store like 200,000. Alright. Yeah, that's going to take a bit. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is... we probably want to expand the red circuit production even more. Oh wait, no, look. We have plastic here now. How did that happen? Did another... I didn't expect that to happen so quickly. Okay, it must have received a small shipment of petroleum gas from somewhere. Because this is clearly just running now. So I don't know how that's happened, but sure. The entire petroleum gas is probably still down, though. Yep, this is still down. But plenty of other places are doing just fine. we're definitely looking like we're mostly saturated everywhere, except for a couple of places. So we're at the point where we can just use blue things for everything. Oh, what's this? With the amount of artillery we have, any attacks are a bit of a surprise. So, where are you getting attacked from? Down this area. Alright, well, no more. You can stop. And you can stop. How do I have apparently 9 artillery pieces with range on this? That's insane. Alright. So let's just blast all this stuff to smithereens. And that should... Let's see, did I miss anything there? Okay, there's this one, which is within range. There's this one, which I don't even know if this is a nest or just like a weird signal thing. Okay, this is definitely a nest. So let's just put a couple more marks onto you. And there you go. Alright, so then those ones are still a good ways out of range. Okay, biters are coming through here. I guess because I attacked something over here. So let's blow up these nests. Gosh, these massive artillery barrages are so satisfying. Alright, that's probably doesn't exist anymore, but I'll throw a shell there just in case. Nope, just empty territory. And we've got, I assume these are all just worms, but let's target them anyways. Yep, a whole bunch of worms. And let's get some of those as well. Alright, so that should be that region more or less clear. And then, okay, there's also this one over here which we need to get. So let's get you guys out of the way. That looks like a nest there. You are awful close, as are you. Just gonna real quick signal them to destroy all the biters within range. If we can just have like 0 biters within our pollution cloud, that would be real cool. Alright, do we need to send another one down here? No, it looks like that's coming in. We do need to send 2 each at those guys. And did I get these guys already? I think I did. But let's send a couple more attacks just to be sure. Oh wait, what's that? They got into something? They got into something here. But it looks like... Oh no, they are still there. Alright, someone just build a laser turret there to get rid of you. It's just 1 biter, so it's not going to be moving especially fast. Where did you even come from? There are like no biters in this whole cloud. How did you... Oh, you must have come from these guys down here. Alright. Off you go. And these guys are like right on the edge. It's a big nest too. I think I think we'll wipe out this one as well. Although it's going to take a lot of clicking. Because there are a lot of nests here, and this is also going to provoke a massive attack. The manual artillery mode is great. I wish that these shots one-shotted the nest so I didn't have to click twice every time. Alright, so that is that dealt with. It's just a matter of waiting for the shells to come in and then not dying to all these biters, which are probably already approaching. Yeah, it looks like they're spreading out a bit, which is nice. It'd be rough dealing with all that in one go. So yeah, they just get zapped, and we should be all good there. Okay, those ones came in from an obnoxious angle. Oh, and apparently that... Okay, that's a significant safety breach. There needs to be a wall there. I don't know how there just wasn't a wall there. Now we're down a laser turret. Until that gets repaired, obviously. Okay, and the most annoying thing that could happen is these guys stop to chew on some of these random rails here. I really need them to focus on getting rid of the lasers. Alright, they do get aggroed on the lasers, but there are not that many lasers down here. They're attacking from a super vulnerable angle, and that replacement laser hasn't gotten built yet. It looks like we are able to manage with the power of repair packs. But I think just replacement lasers aren't going to be enough. I think we want just an extra one in there. Now that should be the last attack like that, because we wiped out the nest that would cause it. Alright. Okay, you are a nest that's within our pollution cloud, so off you go. You are, I think, technically not in it, but you're very close. These guys down here, I think those are just worms and individual biters left. I don't know what you are. I think you're a worm. It's hard to tell. Yeah, so that's all fine. I guess we'll wipe them out just for sake of completeness in this particular area. Why not? Might as well. Alright, so that is that all cleared. And we should be pretty safe now. Like, I think we've cleared out all the biter nests within our cloud. Unless that's a biter nest. What are you? Oh, you're just a group of biters. Well, there we go. Just artillery shelled a group of individual biters. Definitely not necessary, but quite fun. And while we were messing around with that, the train has come back, and we have petroleum gas production. So that's pretty neat. So this is going to fill up. And what do you set? Full cargo or 2 minutes? Alright, so you're going to take a little bit and then start making those red circuits. Or start making the plastic, which will then make the red circuits. It's a bit of an indirect path there. But that should be getting things functional again. And I think I just want to make plastic production faster. Where are you? You're up here. Let's see, how easy is this to expand? Alright, so this is running currently. We have petroleum gas in here. So that's cool. These are all productivity module 1s. And I keep doing this, where I close the menu and then I get confused and hit a bunch of random buttons that don't do what I want to do. Alright, so we go here, and we are going to make all those productivity module 3s, which will actually slow down production a little, but it'll be more efficient, which is also quite useful because we're about to run out. So yeah, just make the petroleum gas stretch a bit further, and then what we can do is just copy-paste this to get more output. Alright, so that is going to be emptying out. How does this work? Why did I design this in this particular way? So this is 1.5-ish each, so that's 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5, 9, 10.5, 12, but it's obviously going to be less than that. And these fast belts are 30, so 15 per side. Alright, so that, actually, I guess that math does check out. Alright, let's just not think about it too hard. Copy-paste this whole thing. Bring it up here. And let's see. We need to make sure that belts don't go into things that we don't want them to go into. So if we connect this back here, that should prevent belts from cross-contaminating at all, but it will require some shenanigans with the coal belts and everything. Okay. I should head over there in person. We're going to need chemical plants. Let's just craft up like 20 of them, and then head the rest of the way over. We're going to have to do a little bit of fiddling with belts and such to get all the resources distributed properly. Alright. So now we're here, and those chemical plants are all going to be built. Alright, so this coal needs to go into both of those, which means we need you and you. Like that. And now these all run. And this top row, right, we need to connect the top row into the petroleum gas. Like that, and now these are all running and making plastic. So, all we need to do now is get this plastic into the trains, which is not going to be trivial. We need to go down there. Yeah, because this is one of the weird old setups for train loading, which means it's all a bit non-standard and gross. Alright, how big, because I'm pretty sure the new standard is this one, which is a fair bit larger. It should barely fit, though. Yeah, that should be fine. Hello. Nice to see a new face. All right, so we're just gotta get all this. So temporarily disconnect all that, and then we dismantle all this stuff, and okay, we filled up our inventory with plastic. Can we get our enjoying Factorio? It's real fun. It's very different from Satisfactory, but I think in a good way. All right, so let's just set that so we don't have infinity plastic in our inventory at all times. And we are just trying to set this up properly so that now this goes in, and we plop it in there. And we have 2 belts of inputs, so we put those in, and now we just have to bring the 2 belts up. So you come up this way. You ended up playing 15 hours straight yesterday? Yeah, that doesn't seem healthy. I can definitely understand, though. I probably would have done that by now if I weren't using streaming as an excuse to give myself a relatively consistent schedule for this. Alright, so this. Then we need that. And gosh, this is a bit funky because we have so little space. Your only time to play it is on weekends. Yeah, that's rough. Scheduling and finding time to play games is always... It's never easy. Alright, so now we have this. And that is all good. Weekends are Sunday, Monday. That's interesting. At least you don't have to go to work on Monday. Although probably going to work on Tuesday isn't any better. Alright, do I even need to upgrade this? No, I don't need to upgrade this. These aren't at full capacity anyways. So we should be just fine for plastic. Should be just fine. It's going to take a good amount of time to load up, but not exactly in a huge rush. Just wanted to start getting... Oh boy, what's happened here? I'm going to guess... No, it's not that. So you are trying to go to here. Oh, I see. Okay, so that's what happened. Is these stations that I use to get spare trains out of the way aren't set to only 1? Okay, now this has spread to everywhere. Alright, so I feel like at some point I convinced myself that I had put all these chain signals in. And apparently I simply did not do that. So let's get some of those in. And then fix this whole catastrophe. Where did this even... Alright, so how do we even fix this? You can't go there for very good reason. You can't go there. You can't go into that because of this guy, but there is actually space. It's just this one thinks it's in the way. I'm gonna have to run over there and do some manual work to fix it. It might be... It might have spread to the literal entire factory, which is not ideal. Alright, so you go to manual mode and just go. And I don't know where exactly you're going, but we're going to get you a good amount along the way. And then send you off. So, did that resolve the problem? No, because this guy is still in this intersection. And he's still in the intersection because he's there, because he's there. Alright. So I think the key thing to fixing it is to get this guy out of the way. Now, can I squeeze you up into there? No, I cannot. Alright, can I get you into this? I could, but then you're going to get potentially loaded up, although all of your... Okay, your cargo is 100% full, so I can actually do this. So you're going to be in here, and you won't be able to fill up because you're already full, and that should get all of this rolling again. Not getting filled up with iron plates. And things are moving. You get deadlocked. Yeah, it happens every so often because I made some mistakes designing the blueprints for this whole factory. So every time something like this happens, I have to go in and fix it. It happens just like every couple of hours, honestly. You're on a world with 10x science cost? That seems interesting. It would definitely make things go a lot slower and spend more time in the early game. Yeah. So the problem is, when I made these blueprints, I didn't think about putting chain signals into the intersections, which is very important. It's like the #1 thing that needs to be done, but I didn't do it. And then I copied and pasted it like a dozen times, each of which has like 4 intersections. And so there are just like all these problems around, and I can't keep track of where they are and where they've been fixed and where they haven't been fixed. And I'm too lazy to like set aside time to specifically go through and fix everything. So we just wait for the deadlocks to happen and fix them then. Alright, so you should be good to go now. Off you go. And I think that's fixed the entire thing. Are there deadlocks anywhere else? Or deadlock looking things? No, this all looks normal. Can't you just copy paste the intersection all over? Yeah, I probably should do that, but you see, then that would be setting aside specific time to fix the problem, which I really should do at some point. But I've figured that eventually I'll just fix all of them and it'll go away on its own. Alright, so that's fixed. Red circuits, are you producing now? Yes, you are. And very, very slowly. Alright, yeah, this is, like, hilariously slow. You do function every 2 minutes, so we don't need to worry about that. What do I have a bunch of passive provider chests over there for? What were these guys doing? No idea. Just gonna pick all of them up. Alright, so red circuits are producing, but very, very slowly. Nuclear power seems to still be going along correctly. Yeah, this is vanilla. I'm planning on getting the Space Age DLC, but I haven't yet. So we haven't quite gotten to the rocket silo. We have it researched, I think. Where are you? Yeah, we have it researched, but we haven't like actually gone and built it yet. Which I should probably do at some point. I'm not sure I'm ready to officially finish the game just yet, though. Still got a lot of stuff to do. Like, for example, what was the next thing that we wanted to do? Oh, right, I wanted to mess around with the combinators, finally, and see what they do. It's a great addition you'd recommend. That's good to hear. I've heard good things about it. Alright, so we have all of these. How do I even get started figuring out what these things do? What if I just craft one of each and then see what they do? Start with a decider. Alright. Sure, I can do that. Alright. So, what do you do? It compares circuit network signals. Well, that's vague. Are there tips and tricks here? Circuit network. Wire one into a robo port to get a bunch of signals to play with. Alright. That's a good hint. Alright, so we... Where did it go? We put you here. And... Okay, maybe we have to... Oh, do we have to, like... Yeah, okay. Like that? Or no, is that the... Hang on. How does this work? Okay. We have 1 billion input signals now. Error facing into the decider is the input. Got it. Alright, so what we can do here is... What outputs? What do these do? Alright, so we go here. Let's select a thing. How about red circuit, since I've been thinking about it. Use signals. Alright, so if that is less than 1,000, it's on a different tab. There's a different tab? Where's the different tab? Conditions, input signals. When you selected red circuits. Alright, wait. Is that what it is? No. Okay, so we have that. Input. Okay, wait. So then we can output. This is confusing. Currently the condition isn't true, so no output. Got it. But how do you make it do something, though? Okay, wait, what's this? Like what do you do with this once you have these signals? Okay, what do these do? Well, okay, yeah, let's have an alarm first, because that seems simple. Alright, so we have that. I keep clicking add output. Alright. Set 0. Oh, do I have to... Maybe I have to connect the output to something? I've never messed around with these at all before. Alright, so... we take... this, and... maybe we connect it to a lamp? Just for theory purposes. Alright, so now that is connected to the lamp. And we're going to turn this on if 0 equals some value. And then, so this sets, if that is less than that, it sets 0 equal to 1. And so if I just make that greater than, then the lamp turns on. Alright, I've figured out a very basic thing. We have turned on a lamp. We have a lamp which will turn on if we're low on red circuits. And it probably works. Alright, so now what I want to do, which is going to probably be a lot more complicated, is see how to make it output a list. Can we just set more outputs, or like individually? Okay, can we set like, I assume we can't set different, like, yeah, so this is always going to be like and or and stuff. For the leftmost signal where you have red circuits, choose each from the signals tab. Alright, so is that everything? Oh, yellow. Okay, got it. Each is greater than 1K. Then it outputs something. Now on the output side, do we also do each? Oh, got it. Okay, so that's just going to output everything we have more than 1,000 of in the logistics network. That's handy. And then if we were to set that to less than, it would show everything I have less than 1,000 of. And then we can do that. Neat. Alright, that's handy. Alright, so what I want to do is ideally compare the input side on one wire red to a list with a constant combinator on green. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I have an idea of what I want to do with this. And that is, since we currently have our red circuit shortage. What I want to do is... Alright, can we control trains via this? Each thing is used to control how much is on a sushi belt. Yeah, that makes sense. So, can I get a... What do all these do? Alright, so I'm going to want another one of these. So, we have that. Apparently they need power. So, this then needs to output to the train station. And does that let me control this? So what I want to do is, we're outputting these red circuits, right? And they're going to a couple of different places. Okay, apparently this is not a good example because we have no spare red circuits. But they're like going to make blue circuits, they're going to make modules, probably going down here as well. And what I want to do is I want to say, like, if one of these, like this one, all these boxes have a couple hundred in them. And since we're so low on red circuits, I don't want to overfill these even more unless there's nowhere else better to go. So I'd like to find, for example, this blue circuit one is empty. And so I want to say the red circuits, instead of just filling this up more and more and more when it doesn't really need it urgently, it would be cool to prioritize sending them to places where it's empty already and urgently needs them. So, I'm just going to have to figure out how this works. Yeah, you could enable and disable the stop. That's it. That makes sense. Use a decider, count the items in the boxes. Okay, but... Yeah, so the thing is, though, is that I want this to just, like, be smart about it. So what I want to do is, like, I do want to be filling those boxes up if they're, like, if all of the outputs are full, I still want to be sending more red circuits to them. I just want it to prioritize whatever needs it the most, you know? So I don't want to just, I guess we would have to compare the red circuits in all of the stops that need them and send it to whichever is the least. So let's see. Yeah, you need to get the signal on the circuit network. Yeah, so I would have to just, I guess, drag those along the whole way. Alright, so this probably doesn't need to be here at the input then. This probably is something that I need to do at the outputs. So, if we head over to, where's somewhere that needs them? That's green circuits. Blue circuits are down here. So we run down here. And then we head over. And we carefully avoid getting hit by this train. And I thought this was where it was. Is it one further down? Yes, it's this one. Alright. So, we're here. And what we need to do is get a... Where are these things? Up here? So we have you. And you get red wire from a box to there. I guess we can pick a box at random. Since these are all merged up together, it should work out the same. And we want to do conditions. I think probably just any. Because we would like to be able to copy paste this to other things that aren't necessarily red circuits. So if we do that, then all right. Now let's keep this simple for now and not get into fancy reusability stuff while I barely understand what I'm doing. All right. So while red circuits are greater than okay, can we get alright, so we can get a green circuit input as well. Alright, so while the red circuits on the red wire, which is the local one, is greater than the red circuits on the green wire, which is going to be the other stuff that's far away, then it's going to output, I guess, red circuit value of 1, and then we can take that, send it into that, and then here we have circuit control if red circuits equals 1, then send that to the contents of the train so it can be used for weight conditions. No, I don't want that. Reads top train. No, we don't want that. Alright, so the enable disable is just all we need for that. So while the condition is false. Alright, so if this has to be less than 1 then. Or maybe just not equal to 1. So if this has more red circuits here than there are elsewhere, then this will output 1, and then this will be off. Otherwise, it'll be on. So then we just need to get this also connected up to the green circuits. Like that. Wait, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. How do you delete a wire? Oh, you just redo it? Okay, got it. That's simple. Alright, because if we'd done that, then this would be adding to the green, and this would never be true, which is not what we want. So, we need to figure out how to get this to apply to everything external, but not the internal stuff. Okay, so hang on, let me think. The main problem will be how to transmit the desired numbers. I mean, I could just run them along the power lines, right? Like that's partially what these are for. So it'll be a little bit annoying, but at least as a proof of concept, it'll be fine, and we might have to figure out how to do it more cleverly later. Yeah, of course. Alright, so we just need to then get the green wire to be everything in the whole system except for the red. Okay. Unique items in a chest with logic to manipulate the chests. Maybe? I don't really know what you mean by that. What I'm thinking here is that instead of this reading directly from the green wire, Alright, so instead of this just reading directly from the green wire, what we need to do is have this read from the green wire minus this. So if... yeah, okay, I think that makes sense. It might not be the most clever way of doing it, but if we do this, then we can take... no, we take red in and green in. So then this will be green red circuits minus red circuits. The wiki says radar transmits signals between them. Interesting. That's handy. Alright, we're definitely going to have to try that. So then the output will be in red circuits as well. So now we can just also connect this up to the green circuits. And then the green circuits will be the total amount of red... gosh, these names are confusing. These are also called circuits, but in a completely different way. Alright, so the green circuits has all the reds total in the boxes that I'm sampling. The red circuit is just the specific local box. So we take green minus red, and then this gets undone, and that goes in. So green minus red is going to be the total green in other parts of the factory. And then this will say if this is greater than that, then turn this off. Okay, so the problem with this system, which I've just realized, is that it only works if this one specific location is greater than all the others combined. Whereas... okay, wait, I have an idea. So we just have to figure out which is the least of them all, right? So what do these other options do? Selector combinator might actually be the trick. Select a specific signal out of all input signals based on criteria. Outputs a number of distinct, so we don't want that. Random signal and stacks. Alright, so we want to do this. we want to take in... So what we want to do is we want to output the whichever box of these has the least. So we take in... Hang on, how do I think about this? We need to figure out which of these boxes has the least and then display that to the greater network. And then we need to compare each box individually to that, and if it's less than that, then we set that to it. And all right, I have a broad strokes idea of what I want to do, but I don't know exactly how to do it. So this is going to... I don't even know how this works. So let's take all of this apart because it's wrong. And it'll be easier to think without all this extra stuff in the way. Alright, now I've just connected that up again, somehow. Alright, so we have a green signal coming in from presumably elsewhere in the factory. We have a red signal coming in from here. And then we need to output whichever is the least. All right. Is that even what I want? What does this even do? I need to just like attach that up to something that isn't empty so that I know what it does. All right. Give me another one of these so I can experiment with it. Alright, so you are hooked up to that, and then so you are going to be select input, select a specific signal out of all input signals based on criteria. What does that mean though? How do you give it criteria? Can we just like... Yeah, so you have like 5 signals going into it. If you choose input 0 is the first signal. Okay, wait. Got it. All right. I think that helped me figure it out. As you add a count, it goes down the list. So if you were to set this to be, say, that, it would grab the 3rd smallest signal, or 4th smallest because it's 0 indexed. All right, got it. All right. So that makes sense. So what I need to do then is we have this, which isn't, I think, gonna work. Yes, so we need to... Okay, now let's actually put that back because I need to do more experimenting. Where are you? So you're there, and then we get just something here. Connect a display. That's a good idea. I already had some, apparently. So you go there. And you go from there to there. And you are going to display... Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. The what? Oh, how did that even get there? How did that wire even get there? Alright, so you go from there to there. You go from there to there. And then... you show... anything? Maybe? No? Oh. No, this has to go there. Anything greater than 0? Alright. Yeah, so that shows then our logs, because that's the largest thing. Now if we swap that to sort ascending, it shows nothing. Okay, so we're almost there. Yeah, try selection 1. Alright, so that is showing RoboPacks, which is presumably the thing I have the least of in the system, which is greater than 0. That sounds plausible. How do we input signals? Yeah, so I have exactly one RoboPack in there, which makes it the least, tied for the least, with a bunch of other things. And alright, so now what I need to do is I need to use this to compare the red circuits on the green input. Yeah, so we can put the signal into a decider. Alright, let's craft another one of those for science. So you go there, you output to there, and it's outputting personal roboport. Now if I set this to 2, it's still... okay, that's still showing personal roboport, despite the fact that this is definitely not also the second small... how do I have -3 of those? Okay, I guess that's fine. Okay, no, it has changed. It has updated to some other thing, which we also have one of. Alright, so what I need to do... yeah, I have a bunch of things that count 1, that's what's happening. So what I need to do then is I need to go down here, and I need to... first of all, one of the other things that requires them is pretty close, right? Actually, no, let's try the satellite thing. Let's try the radar. So we pop down a radar, and we are going to connect you up to that. And then we're going to run down here. This is actually very close. And we are going to connect you up as well, also via green. Do I have to set that? Yeah, read contents. So, input signals. Okay, I set that to red circuits. I don't want that. I think it's supposed to be a constant. Potentially 1 sort ascending. So we have input signals of red circuits at 506. And this is probably also going to... So if we put that in as well, then that's just going to increase the input signals for this. So I need to convert them from that signal to another type, which should be easy. If we just... Is there a way of doing that? What does this do? Okay, no, that's not what we want. We want just a... possibly arithmetic. So let's grab one of those. I already had one. Didn't need to craft another. So you input red circuit times 1, and then you output it as, like, I don't know, some random thing. Signal 0. Okay, so then we need to disconnect that from that, connect you into there, then connect you into there, and then you output down to our decider. I think. Or maybe this all has to be within green. I bet this all has to be within green. So let's connect that up. So then this has to be red signals on that is greater than signal 0. If you don't output a signal, it won't transmit. Okay. So we're going to output it to that, probably. Use a constant combinator to just force one on a wire. Yeah, that makes sense. So we'll say where... I know I have like a couple of these lying around. The inventory gets so cluttered, it's hard to see stuff. There we go. Alright, so this constant combinator is the temporary stand-in for our red circuits. So we're going to have that, and we're going to say we've got 100 of them. So now this has to be... Wait, no. That's wrong. This should be green. This should be red going into that. So we have 100 is greater than signal 0, which it shouldn't be, right? Okay, how does this work? Oh, that's times signal 1, not the constant value of 1. Okay, that's what happened. Signal 0 is just so that I can have 2 different things going into the selector. So I compare that to red circuits, and it's outputting signal 0 because that's larger, which means this is getting this, which is greater than that, so it doesn't output that. And because it's not outputting that, this is on. Alright, so then the other thing that I need to do then is, let's see, so now we have theoretically this green circuit from the radar represents the lowest amount of red circuits in any of the boxes that I'm checking. And this is lower than that, so the train stop is on. So this all works, and now the only thing that I need to figure out is I need to figure out how to get this to then update the signal in the radar to be representing this because it's lower. So what we need to do is we take this decider combinator, which is, yeah, I just shoved in, oh wait, it's gone. Did it get eaten? Yeah, no, I connected this one up to it just because it seemed like a reasonable thing to do. So what I need to do then is I need to figure out that this one, which is 100 technically, is less than the, where did that signal even go? Is less than the 506 that's coming from the radar. So we need to remove the 506 red circuit signal from the radar and set it back to this, because this is lower than that. So how do we do that? How do we subtract signals that already exist? Is that even possible? Negative numbers? Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, so we have to, so this is outputting, so this isn't outputting anything because it's greater than that. Right, so this outputs like to turn this off, basically. You just slam a negative signal into the same signal. Got it. So can we just take something from this decider to determine that this is that? Alright, so we're going to need another arithmetic combinator, I think, at the very least. So you go in, and you get a power line. So if we just take this one, okay, wait, actually, do we not need that? Do we need another decider, maybe? So we have this, and conditions. We have the red circuit, which lets us know whether or not the local stuff is less than that. And we have the other thing is, wait, no, I don't think we need this at all. I think this is easier, right? So we have this, gosh, what am I thinking? My brain has just stopped functioning instantly for no reason. So what we need to do is we need to, maybe it isn't a decider. Gosh, this is very complicated to get used to. So we take in red circuits. We need to connect it up to something. So we take in this, which I guess would be that and that, since we're hacking that in temporarily. And then we take in that. And so now we have both of those. So red is less than green. Yeah, it does get into true programming. Fortunately, I am technically a programmer, so I just have to get accustomed to it. It's different from like a regular programming language, which makes it a lot less easy. But we just have to... Wait, do we just output the difference? If we just make this... I need to stop just instantly disabling things as soon as I figured it out. So if we just do this, and then hook that up, and hook that up. So we have that times that, or no, not times. So we have red signals of 100 minus green signals of 506 outputs negative 406. Like that. So this would set it to the 100 that we need it to be if it works. Now, if it isn't true, and this one were 506 and this one were 100, this would output 406, which would, we don't want to add that into anything. So we need to just check if this is negative then. So we get a decider, and you go there, and you connect across. And if you are less than 0, then you output the input count, otherwise you don't. And then we just take this and throw it into there. Ah, okay, that, I should have seen that coming. Alright, so we've successfully made an infinite loop. So I need a less than or equals to somewhere. Somewhere in here, I need to find something. Alright, so you can be greater than or equals to... You can be less than or equal to 0. Hang on. No, that doesn't make any sense. So what I need to do is... If these two inputs are the same, I need this to not change. Okay, it's getting more complicated the more I think about it. Alright, is it the selector maybe? How do I fix this? So if I connect that up, it's just going to do that again, which I definitely don't want. Yes, we need to figure out how to prevent this from infinite looping, and we want it to just sit happily if it's exactly this, if the two are exactly the same. So this will turn it off if it's greater than or equal to output 0, which would be 100 theoretically, because this is the least. So we have 100 going in here, 100 coming out here, so this is just going to stay off, probably. Then the selector is going to be choosing between the two, which to output. Oh wait, does this not work? So this is going to output either... Okay, wait, I think I figured it out. So this will output either an output 0 or a 100 red circuits. So, do we even need that? Do we even need that, is the question. So if we set this to just any green signal, where is that? Where are the special rules here? Alright, I can't find... So what's happening is this is outputting one of two different types of signals, which means this and is getting one of two different... Let's see. Are we sure that... What portions of this are flickering? Literally all of it. Alright. The entire thing goes crazy like that. Which makes me think that it's something different from what I thought it was. Because if that were if what I thought was happening, then this wouldn't do anything. So let's see. This sets this to 100. This subtracts the 2. 100 from 100 gets 0. So then this would output... Oh, I see. Okay. So this is going from outputting negative 406 to outputting 0 instantly. But then... Alright, so how do we fix that? We would need to, like, remember that value somehow. And then only toggle it occasionally. Are there... How do we do that? We need to store the value of negative 406. You can make a latch. Yeah, that's what we need. I don't know how to do that. I can probably figure it out, though. So that outputs negative 406. Alright, how does one make a latch? Okay, yeah, I'll try to figure that out. So what I need to do is I need to, like, store the value of negative 406 and keep sending it to this until... How do I know when to stop sending that, is the question. Until anything about the entire system changes even slightly? Oh dear. Is this even gonna work? Let's think here. Yeah, I'm gonna need to think more about this, and it's difficult to focus on stream. So I think we're gonna leave this as a work in progress for the moment. See if anything else is broken. While we were staring at that, are there any deadlocks around? No, everything looks good. Okay, has our red circuit production started up again? It has. Yep, I've figured out the general gist of it, and now I just need to like spend some time thinking about it and just like letting it cook in my mind for a little bit, and we'll get there eventually. For now, what are we even short of? I mean, obviously we're short red circuits. That's how we got into this entire situation. Also, we have a bunch of signals which don't work for whatever reason, because they're aligned slightly wrong. Cannot divide segments. Alright, someone take that one out. That one definitely doesn't need to be there. Alright, let's just... Okay. Let's just try to increase red circuit production. So all the inputs are perfectly good here, which means we should be able to just... Okay, this is the hard part. We take a blueprint of this, including all the important things, like all the buildings that aren't just part of the train square. Alright, that is probably everything. Got some extra walls in there, but that's fine. Red circuit production. Let's just call it red circuit square. I think that's what I've been calling these. So I create that blueprint. And then we get hit by a train, because of course we do. That's annoying. Yeah, I could remove the walls. It's honestly fine though. Like they're not hurting anything being there. The list of items on the bottom of the blueprint can be toggled. Oh, that's handy. I hadn't thought about that, but I guess that makes sense. Alright. Up we go to pick up our corpse. Yes, the cost of speed is you do get hit by trains every so often. Alright, let's run over there and pick up our stuff and then get back to what we were doing. Alright, fortunately it was not all that far. Alright, so we're here. We grab you, equip you, and then dismantle the rest of it. Alright, we're back to doing that. So now we just have to find just any empty spot. Let's go up here, I guess. Okay, is this actually going to work? Because we have ore extraction north of this. Alright, so we have to head a square over. Those aren't connected to power. There's also not really any danger in that spot. Like, obviously the rest of this is just completely undefended anyways, so that's fine. Alright, so this bit above isn't like a conventional square, but it should still work. So we get train square V2. This goes in here. And I believe that is all lined up. Yeah, that looks lined up. So then we place that. And then we grab our... Oh, everything's shifting around. Then we grab this. And we overlay it on top. And click. And we'll see if we have all the resources for all that. Entity is being damaged. Alright. What are you doing? Of course. Alright, well that's fine. We're gonna have to... It's gonna be a bit awkward to fix, but there. Alright, there we go. I guess that drone can just be there filling all that up. And then we are once again missing productivity modules. That's not surprising. So someone will put that laser turret in and deal with that singular spitter. In the meantime, all of this is getting built. That's going to take a little while. Okay, we need to connect it up to the power grid so that some of this stuff can function and charge up drones locally. And then we're just going to run around and see what our personal supplies can do. And this is going to take a while. Apparently we are 180 some productivity modules short, which is a lot. Apparently we have a lot fewer than I thought we would by now. Is something going wrong down here? Ingredient shortage of, it looks like, module Mark IIs. And you have a shortage of green circuits? How are you short green circuits? Oh no, you don't even need green circuits. Oh, you're short blue circuits. Yeah, that makes sense. We haven't been producing those for ages. Alright, so those are all just going to be short productivity modules until all that stuff gets sorted out. Oh, apparently we even got the settings on the stations correct. That's neat. I didn't even mean to do that, but it works. You played with the RPG mod, which has XP. Interesting. I guess it makes sense that there would be such a thing. But I don't know. I have not looked at all into mods for really like any factory building games. Although I'm probably gonna look at Satisfactory mods soon-ish, because I've been playing vanilla for a long time in that game. But I like to get a good amount of vanilla play in before I start messing with mods. Just because, you know, got to know what the experience is supposed to be like before you can mess around with it too much. Also, why am I being carried around by belts? Does this not have enough power? I could have sworn I had a belt immunity equipment. Okay. Oh, it's probably because it's nighttime and it's been nighttime since I picked my gear back up. Factorio is a great mod for base Factorio. Alright, good to know. Thanks for the recommendation. I will look into that at some point. Alright, so this is mostly all built by this point. We might need more batteries in our equipment, although we've been fine this whole time, so we probably should be okay. Alright, so the copper wires are coming in. Then the plastic input and... Alright, we're going to need more trains. I think we normally have one train per input stop. So you get to exist, and you are going to be set to... Where are you? Plastic group. And automatic mode. Off you go. And you're probably just going to end up stuck in a station somewhere. But that's fine. And then you go in, and this is what green circuits input. Alright, so you get assigned to the green circuit group. And we probably don't like absolutely need a copper wire input train, because we just apparently are getting some just naturally from other places. but just so that this doesn't mess with things in terms of having enough trains for everything. I'm going to put another one in. Set you to the copper wire group. And automatic mode. Alright, so assuming that everything here is functional, which at least the copper wire has gotten through, then this should, in theory, eventually start up and double our red circuit production. And we probably should have made this even more space efficient before we copy-pasted it, but that's fine. Like, we could have squeezed another couple lanes in on either side. What's going on over there? What is that? I'm just going to assume that that's intentional. And yeah, that looks like the sort of thing that I built when I knew what I was doing. Oh, it's trying to get things on both sides of the belt, I guess. Sure. That's fine. As long as the input is enough, it doesn't really matter. Alright, so that's going. The trains are off doing whatever it is trains do. Yeah, I have very little ability to control these things. They just sort of show up when they feel like it. But they are filling up with plastic. So that's fine. And this train has just showed up completely empty for some reason. Don't know why you've done that. Oh, you didn't just show up. I just never set you to automatic, so you never left in the first place, obviously. Alright, off you go. And that should be fine. So yeah, I think we should be good. Is that more copper wire coming down to here? Yes, it is. Cool. Now this, I can only imagine that this is going to cause problems because it's not standardized on both sides. But again, that's the sort of thing that we're going to deal with in the future once the problems actually materialize. Alright, so it is 4:53, and I usually stream from 2 to 5, so I think we're going to wind up the stream right about now. Pretty good stopping point. We have finished off our nuclear plant, at least for the time being. We have expanded red circuits. We spent a good amount of time staring at logic circuits, and I at least vaguely know what I'm doing there. So I think today was a pretty good day of progress. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Make sure to follow if you haven't already, just so that you know when I'm streaming in the future if you want to stop by. I alternate between Satisfactory and Factorio. So I'll be streaming Factorio on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 5 Eastern Time, and Satisfactory on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the same time. So make sure to stop by in the future if you're interested in any of that.